Get off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You're tuned into Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News, CNBC News, and NBC Sports Radio Station, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, Audible, Amazon Music, TV Live, Rumble, Podchaser, Spreaker, and more. Why so many places? Because I want to maximize my splatter zone for more hope and happiness. So there's no gossip here, no scandal, and no K words, no Kanye talk at all. Formerly or now, instead, I want you to focus on your own reality show and how you can be happy 88% of the time. So I have topics and guests to that end. If you've missed any one of my 1,197 podcast shows over the last 639 consecutive weeks, but who's counting, then please do free subscribe to my YouTube TV channel. You'll get all of those interviews, and you'll also get the former times that I've had this amazing actor. I don't even know how to describe it. I'm just going to read because Harlan wrote this way better than I did. But she's best known for Cousin Geri on the NBC hit sitcom The Facts of Life. She was the first person with a disability to have a regular role as a primetime series. That's why I call her my pioneer. She began her career doing stand-up comedy at the Comedy Store in 1978. In 1980, she performed at the second annual Media Access Awards, where she was introduced to Norman Lear by producer Fern Field. After her groundbreaking role on Facts of Life, she's appeared on such shows as The Great Space Coaster, the Emmy Award-winning movie Two of a Kind, Sesame Street, 21 Jump Street, Young and the Restless, Strong Medicine, and the HBO hit series Deadwood, which she also received Emmy consideration for. She also co-starred in the independent film Night of the White Ants and was featured on the Fox series Alcatraz. When she's not working on TV, she's a highly sought-after motivational speaker and trainer in the areas of diversity, disability, and LGBTQ issues. Her training has taken her to such companies as Hewlett-Packard, Master Foods, Johnson Wax, AT&T, Amgen, Mass Mutual, and Raytheon. She's also trained such government agencies as the CIA. I didn't know that. I have to talk about that. The U.S. Treasury Department, Defense Intelligence Agency, and the U.S. Army. She's famous for her uncanny ability to captivate the hearts of her audiences by using humor to facilitate attitudinal change. Geri brings to her presentations her personal experiences in life, which in turn allow people to gain insight into the prospect of seeing disability in a totally different light, creating hope where there is none and joy where there is pain. Please welcome back to my studio my beloved friend. I'm so grateful to be able to call her that, Geri Jewell. I am so honored to have you here in studio with me, Geri. Thanks for coming back.
Say it again. I'm happy to be here. I took out one hearing aid.
Oh, you did? Okay.
When I took out both hearing aids, it didn't change anything.
Got it. We're just dealing with a little bit of an echo here. And I don't hear it now, Geri. So whatever you did worked great.
Okay.
Awesome. Awesome. And thank you. We already have someone just gave us the finger, Geri. not that finger, but this finger. I'm so glad to see eyeballs in the studio. That means, Geri, we have people streaming with us live right now. And I would love it if you would ask questions and participate and make this a really back and forth exchange. It's rare and wonderful these days to have something really actually live. So I'm so happy to be able to do that. And we're just going to have a great time catching up. I don't get to see you as often as I'd like, but I definitely love it when we bump into each other, usually at one of Harlan's events. And I'm so glad that I've actually known you. You know, the first time you were in my studio was 10 years ago.
Was it? Yeah, it was 10 years ago.
Can you believe it? I can't believe it was 10 years ago. But time flies. We're both having fun, and we definitely want to catch up because you've got a lot of great things going on for you. First, I start every show now with a thing called Breakfast with my guest or Breakfast with my co-host. And I urge people to take a bite of my gratitude sandwich. So what that is the top of the bun is things that I am grateful for that are outside of me. Like I'm grateful the sun is shining. I'm solar powered, so I'm grateful that it's shining today. And on the bottom of the bun, we're going to model for our listeners and watchers tonight before you go to bed, what do you like about yourself? It's my BS, my belief system that good mental health starts with self-care, self-love, self-approval. So instead of going around with little antennas saying, who likes me, looking on your social media, literally looking for numbers of likes, instead, I want you to like yourself. Not you, Geri, because I know you do, but the people that are out there who feel a little unbalanced, it starts with you, boo. So that's what we're going to do right now. I did my first gratitude. Geri, what are you grateful for?
What am I most grateful for? For my family, my friends, for every day that I'm given a chance to make a difference in the world, which is what I came into the world to do. And I'm grateful for my cat, Kiki.
I got the best compliment this morning when Geri came on. She said, there's only two things that I get up this early for. One is my cat and one is you. I'll close out the top of the bun gratitudes by saying I'm grateful for Harlan because he really, truly is my favorite publicist. He's connected me with the most wonderful people on the planet, and I'm so grateful for him. So thank you, Harlan. I'm going to give you a little applause. I don't think I've ever given him applause. So there you go. There's your first one. All right, let's go to the bottom of the bun, which is what do you like about yourself? Feel free to put that in the chat if you want to play along. Again, why do I do this? If you can't approve of yourself, how the fork do you expect anybody else to approve of you? So I like that I am enthusiastic, to say the least. So I appreciate that about myself. What do you like about yourself, Geri?
What do I like about myself?
Yep.
Perseverance.
What was that?
Perseverance.
Perseverance. Oh yeah, you're the poster child, I think, for perseverance.
And I like the fact that I have a sense of humor. I've always had a sense of humor. If I didn't have that, I don't know that I would still be here. It balances all the challenges, the very difficult challenges that I've had in life. but I'm able to laugh at the same time. That makes any
Yes.
sense.
Yes, it totally makes a lot of sense. I just read your very first interaction with Norman Lear, and I didn't know this, but this is a great way to give proof of your sense of humor. Norman Lear said to you, "You're ahead of your time." And you said to him, "Come back to me in 3 months." I mean, I don't know anybody that would have the cojones to say that to Norman Lear, first of all. But I'm so glad you did, because he did. It made you memorable, and he came back and did approach you. And I just want to say I am sorry for your loss. I know how close you were to him and how much you cared for him and how much he cared for you, and that this collection that you are bringing out, and she's going to be at the Barnes and Noble at the Grove in August 7th, 3 days before my birthday. So
Wow, happy birthday.
thank you. But I hope that you mark that on your calendar now. We'll bring it up again so you can go and get a beautiful collection from Geri signed. So that'll be in, I guess it's LA. I don't know if that's Beverly Hills or LA, but it's in that farmers market area. One of my favorite places in LA. So, all right, let's go now and thank everyone for joining us for breakfast. Hopefully you feel better. I promise you, if you do this for 28 days consecutively, with or without me on the air, I'm on every single morning, except on the weekends, you will sandwich your day in the most positive way. So hopefully that was a good taste for your breakfast. All right, we have a beautiful comment. I had a feeling you'd be on live today, David. I'm so glad you're here. David Zimmerman says, "This woman keeps so many breathing. She is full of love and a true jewel. Geri is an icon and a healer through laughter and love." And that's from David Zimmerman. Just beautifully said. He runs a great acting showcase. I keep saying, one of these days I got to get in there. I will get in there to participate. But David, thank you for that lovely tribute, and we all agree. You've got so many people that love and support you, Geri. I hope you really take that in, because you really are one of a kind, wonderful. I say that again.
Oh, I'm still hearing that drum. Are you hearing that drum sound?
No drum sound. Okay. You know what? Go ahead and put the hearing aids back in.
I did. I put one in.
Okay.
I put one in because when I took them both out, it was still drumming. So it's not the hearing aid. I don't know what it is.
All right. Well, hopefully it'll die down or drum its way out. All right. So let's see. There's so many things to talk about. Oh, what did you do for the CIA?
Well, I was hired to do training, sensitivity training. I trained the CIA in attitudinal training towards people with disabilities, and they actually ended up being the #1 government agency in hiring people with disabilities.
Wow, I did not know that. I know I've already asked you this, but just in case there's people who have never met you before, which is hard to believe. Let's go back again to why you are perseverant. You were born with cerebral palsy. as far as that's your, if you could take us back and just, I can't imagine the kind of mental strength that it took to not only deal with a diagnosis like that, but then it's like you've done so many things on top of just living with cerebral palsy. So take us on a little journey back so that people can be inspired with some hope. So you were born where, and your parents, and how did all that happen?
Well, I was born in Buffalo, New York. Uh, that was my first disability.
Where's my ba-dum-bum? There is a drumming right there.
I had a very traumatic birth. My mom was sitting on the porch reading a magazine, and a car came around the corner, a student driver learning how to drive, and she needed more training because she lost control of the car. It ran up my parents' front lawn, knocked over the maple tree, and my mom ran to escape the tree, and she ended up falling, and she was rushed to the hospital. She was hemorrhaging, and I was born very early at 6 months, 6 months old. And it's a miracle that I even lived. It's a miracle that my mom lived. Um, it was meant to be. There are no accidents in life. Everything happens for a reason. I really believe that.
That's incredible. I don't know if I ever got that part from you, but that is the fact that you were 6 months.
Yes, and what's interesting about that is that back then, they, usually people born that young back then in 1956 didn't live. The fact that I lived was a miracle. And they didn't, at that time, they didn't believe that preemies should be touched by the human hand. So I was put into an incubator for the first 3 months of my life without any human contact. And I firmly believe, how do you live in a glass box for 3 months without contact? And I believe that I was spiritually held in the hands of angels that were talking to me and protecting me the whole time I was in there. Because that's the only way I can understand how a baby can live like
That is, as a psychology student, those studies where they do with animals and deprive them of touch for the first 3 months or first, they don't turn out like you. They're not loving. They're not funny. They're not, I remember they're aggressive and full of fear. And so that truly is a miracle, Geri. Every time I interview you, I find out something new and amazing. That is new and amazing, because honestly, that describes some of the behavioral issues they had with adopting kids from a third world country, that were in places where they weren't touched. So, wow, that is amazing. Okay, so then you were born, and the damage that was done, right? From
head injury, and later found out, years later, when I was in college, we found out that my lower back was injured as well, but nobody knew it. And my mom took me to the doctor because I was in so much pain when I was in college. And they x-rayed and gave me an MRI of my back. And she said, well, this is visual pain from when she broke her back when she was a child. And my mom said she never broke her back. Well, yes, she did. And he showed both of us the scar. And she couldn't understand why she would lay me down and I would just scream. And she couldn't stop me from screaming. I was in pain and nobody knew it. They never thought to look further than the fact that I was premature.
That is, oh, wow. Wow. Okay, perseverance, maker number 3. Car trauma, early birth trauma, and fractured back. Okay, so next, first of all, I want to say welcome. Debbie wanted to say hello. Debbie Van Du, I don't know, Duckeren. I just saw the post on Facebook and wanted to say hi to Geri. So I just wanted to interject. You've got another person saying hello. If you've just tuned in and wondering what's going on in my studio today, I am so delighted to have back for her 3rd visit to my studio, Geri Jewell. She's a beautiful soul. And on top of that, she's the poster child for perseverance. She's an actor. You'll recognize her from Cousin Geri on Facts of Life, as well as Deadwood. Those are the 2 big ones. There's so many others, but I had her in my studio when she was releasing the first. Was that the first book? I don't know if it was the first book straight.
Well, there was another book in the 80s, supposedly an autobiography called Geri, but I had very little to do with it. It wasn't my writing. So I would say that this is my 2nd book.
Oh, beautiful. And Debbie says that she remembers you from Woodcrest School as a volunteer.
Yes, I volunteered at Woodcrest Special when I was in college for my psychology class, because I was a psychology major for about a year. And I had to do some volunteer work. And that was something that I chose. But I remember Debbie. I love you, Debbie.
Oh, that is so sweet. That's beautiful. All right. So, okay. So then you grow up, you go to school. Did you go to public school? Like, no, not normal.
I went to special ed. I was in special ed until I was 15 years old. And then I was integrated into a regular high school. But I don't say full inclusion because I wasn't fully included yet. I took half special ed classes and half regular classes. Why? I don't know. They should have just given me the whole big whammy and challenged me on all courses. But, I didn't have a lot of say-so in my education. Everybody made decisions for me. Interesting, when I was in high school, they put me in special ed PE. And I was so frustrated because physically, even though I had cerebral palsy, I was very mobile back then. I mean, I could do anything. I mean, I learned how to ride a skateboard. And I was a whiz on a skateboard. And they put me in a class with kids that were in wheelchairs, on crutches, and basically we just played bugaboo. It wasn't until my senior year that I finally bucked the system and I got accepted in the regular girls badminton class. And years later, I'm talking about 20 years later, I read a letter that was written in high school by my father. He was the one who didn't want me in regular girls' PE. I had no idea that that's why they forced it. Because my dad didn't want me to be frustrated and quit. He was afraid that the competition with other kids without disabilities would be too much. it was my dad's fear, not mine.
Wow. So there's like so many beautiful nuggets here. One is I just realized that sometimes when we see a person with a disability, we make assumptions about their abilities that are not accurate. So, just because someone is in a wheelchair or someone has cerebral palsy, you think that all faculties maybe are affected, which is erroneous. So let's put that moose on the table right now. Geri, you know that I was born in Canada, right? So instead of saying, let's talk about the elephant in the room, I say, let's put the moose on the table. so that's my first moose on the table. And I love that you have taken your diagnosis, which is not who you are. It's just a diagnosis, part of you. You have cerebral palsy. That it's not who you are, but that you use this platform. You take your limelight, which is why I love you and all people who are in the industry who have had success or having success, who take their limelight and use it as a spotlight to get to teach us and educate us and give us more understanding and awareness of that difference. And that's what you've done. And for that, I've done this before. I'm going to do it again. I'm giving you Dr. Marissa's Beneficial Presence on the Planet Award. Because you don't have to do that. And you do that. So thank you. So that's one nugget. The second nugget is your father's fear out of love. Out of love. We know that. But it was his fear, not yours. So that's another nugget where are you letting someone else's reaction or fear or anger, whatever it is, control the way you see yourself?
Well, it's always been a part of my reality, even to this day. I mean, I'm always going to deal with that because cerebral palsy is very visual and I can't hide it in my back pocket. And I always get assumptions, about me, what I can do, what I can't do. People have a hard time asking me, they just make the assumption that if my dad had sat down and asked me, I would have said, let me do it, Dad, and I forgive him for it because I understood where he was coming from. And that's Kiki, by the way.
I was waiting for her to come back on camera. She did. Beautiful. Now, did you ever sit down and have a talk with him about that?
Pardon?
Did you ever sit down with your dad?
I never talked to him about that, but I will say that my dad had more fears than my mom did. My mom, she pushed me. I mean, I remember in high school also that I was in a driver's ed class and they kept skipping my name for actual driving a car. And I went home to my mom one day and I said, what's the point of taking driver's ed, and doing the written work, but they won't let me drive the car. They keep skipping my name. Mom wrote to the congressman in Sacramento and said it was discrimination. They wrote to the high school and said they had to teach me how to drive. They had no choice. And my mom pushed that, not my dad. My dad wouldn't have. He wouldn't have. But my mom,
Wow, that's that you had a balance because you had one pushing and one holding back. So
exactly.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you gravitated towards your mom's pressure by mom, as I call it.
But I'm not putting my dad down in any way. I mean, there were some instances, like he used to take my sister and I to the beach all the time, and he would let me go way out there in the ocean. He watched me, but he let me do it. And the only ones that had problems with it was the lifeguards. They would come after me with inner tubes, and there would be this crowd of people on the beach going, "Oh my God, she's drowning!" and Dad would be yelling, "She's not drowning. That's the way she swam."
And there's the sense of humor, folks. If you're wondering what's going on in studio, we have the beloved Geri Jewell. She's an actress. You'll remember her from Facts of Life in Deadwood and so much more. We're going to be right back. We're going to take a quick station ID for news and traffic, but we'll be back. Don't go away on Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa. Tuesday Talent Series featuring Geri Jewell. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome back. You're tuned into Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa. The morning show you're on KCAA, NBC News, AM 1050, FM 106.5, home to the Asian Oprah, #1 talk in the IE. And we're just delighted to have back in my live studio today Geri Jewell, who is actress. I don't want to say activist because it sounds angry, but she definitely is an educator. She's done so much, not just on the screen, but certainly in helping us understand better cerebral palsy, people with disabilities, and LGBTQ. Like, if you haven't had any other things that's going on that make you part of the not mainstream, I don't know what else we can add on there. So you can think of a few more things. I don't know if we can take it. Well, certainly too, you've been your aging process is something that you are also quite let's see, you are aging gracefully for sure. I don't know if it's as gracefully as you would like it to be, and I'm just go ahead.
Well, aging and safety is very difficult for me. I'm coping with it now. You know, I'm not as mobile as I used to be. I'm in chronic pain. It's hard, but I'm ingrained, I think, to keep going, not to quit. I don't know how to quit because I have tried to live from the minute I was born. So it's hard for me to say, okay, I'm done. But I'm from the baby boomer generation, and we are the first generation of people with disabilities who were proactive, who were employed, who went out there. Before me, babies with cerebral palsy, or even anybody with cerebral palsy, lived with their parents their whole life, or they were institutionalized, or they weren't employed, and so there wasn't a lot of physical mobility that the boomers did. So we're paying for it now. I'm paying for it. My body is beaten up from overuse. Um, I had neck surgery in '99, and the surgeon said to my sister, if I didn't know that your sister was 43 before I cut her open and looked at the inside, her bones, her joints, her muscles, I would think she's a woman of 80.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, I don't even know very much about cerebral palsy, but even the fact that you are where you are, all the things that you have done, that is kind of out of the norm or the average, right, for people with cerebral palsy. Like,
Yes, it's very difficult, and the aging process. I mean, it's aging. We all age. It's just that when you have CP, it's much more complicated.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Debbie was commenting, I just realized, I think you have cerebral palsy or something also that is one of a kind, wonderful. You did take the driving part in driver ed, and she was allowed to bring a friend. I don't drive, but I did it. And I think that is the great thing about your inspiration. That inspired people like Debbie as well. I have CP, I'm deaf. I have my guy 25 years now, and we have a 21-year-old son with Asperger's and scoliosis. So, another poster child who said anything about a disability. And it reminds me of, I had a beautiful friend who's now on the other side in heaven, Larry Wilkes, who had a stroke. He was very active, had a stroke, he would move like someone who couldn't move anymore or moved with some difficulty. And he would say the only, and they were calling it handicap at that time, the only, if I transpose, the only disability in life is a bad attitude.
Well, that's true. I mean, it takes the attitude to do it takes a positive attitude and a sense of humor to keep going. Not to say I don't have bad days. I'm human. I'm not,
You're not an angel. You're not. You're not a saint.
There are days when I don't have that, and I just pick myself up the next day and try harder.
Yeah, you've got my 88% rule. 88% of the time you're fabulous. 12% of the time I step in it. So you can't have 100% happy or you're dead, right? We have to have some contrast. But let me get to your newest beautiful collection that is coming out. She's going to be at the Barnes & Noble on August 7th, which is amazing because I was at Barnes & Noble with my book, but I could not get into the Grove. I had a really nice manager who said, it's great. You're at Barnes & Noble, Burbank, Mission Viejo, Long Beach, but, we just can't seem to get people to come out at the Grove, so we just don't let anybody except the big, big names go to Barnes & Noble, the Grove. So here you go.
Well, it's interesting because I've been guided spiritually my whole life. And I really have. And I went to a fundraiser for the John Ritter Foundation by my friend Amy Yaston. And it was there that I met the guy who runs the Grove. And I told him that I had a book coming out. He said, "Really?" "Yeah." And I said, "Norman Lear wrote the foreword." And his eyes got really wide. "Really?" I mean, I couldn't get the Grove with my last book. So I'm ecstatic that I got the glove.
I'm so glad you know how special you are. I'm going to have to go call him back up and tell him I'm a friend of yours, and maybe that'll get my. I'm teasing.
What's amazing is that Norman wrote the forward at 101.
Wow. Wow. That is amazing. Now he passed. When did he pass?
Not that long ago.
Right.
Yeah, this year actually.
How old was he when he passed?
101.
101. Oh my gosh. So wow. That is so beautiful.
That was his last gift to me. And I told him I had a book and I wanted him to look at it. And he said, well, come on over to the house. So I drove over to his house and I showed him the book. And he was studying through it. And I said, Norman, I know this is asking a lot. You have a lot on your plate and you're a busy man, but could you write the forward for my book? It's a coffee table book, Norman. And he said, well, what if they don't have a coffee table? And that is so Norman.
Well, that's how he got to 101 and have a busy life, right?
He had a sense of humor, exactly.
Oh my goodness. Well, Geri's Jewels is a collection of her columns, your columns, I'm speaking to you in third person, that you wrote for Ability magazine over the years, as well as fun photos from your life that you chose. It's a balanced blend of her sense of humor, and you all got that already, and sensitivity, which embraces her ability to survive and thrive in a world that was challenging from the time that she was born with cerebral palsy in 1956. In 1978, she embarked on what she was told an impossible for her career in stand-up comedy, and the rest is history. I'm just delighted that you are publishing this. I think it's a wonderful gift, not for other people, for yourself. I mean, I'm sure that there are, little techniques or sound bites that you use to keep yourself motivated, to lift yourself up in those 12% of the times when you're not feeling like being funny. And the only thing funny is that I'm funny looking. Any of those times, what would you say to people who are now just newly diagnosed with a disability, who feel like their life is over or life is not fair? Take us through sort of the process that you used, looking back.
You can't deny the pain, whether it's emotional, physical, or mental. For people to say, oh, just get over it, have a different attitude. That's not possible. Take one day at a time, like everything else, one day at a time. There are going to be days that are going to be hard, but can't give up. I have an inner pilot light, and that pilot light is my spirit. And sometimes the pilot light is low, and that's on hard days. And sometimes the pilot light is full, and that means I'm having a great day. But don't let that power light go out completely, because then you don't have that spiritual pilot light to guide
you. I usually like it when my guests cry. I don't necessarily like it when my guests make me cry.
I didn't mean to.
Oh, no, but I love it, actually. I love it when people cry because, one, tears are the disinfectant that keep our heart soft. And two, it means the heart is open. So my heart just opened even more. I don't know how it could open any more to you, Geri. You truly are someone who not only inspires hope, but is, gosh, I feel honored that you woke up just for me, and and then I get a place by your cat as the only two. I mean, you're just so, gosh. People say I'm resilient. I can't even imagine the spirit, and I do see that pilot light, and that pilot light has been so beautiful and so bright for so many people. I mean, Debbie wants you to be in San Diego pretty soon.
You know, my decision to write this book came around 2020 when we were struggling with COVID and lockdown, and you know, we're so divided as a country, and it's a different world than the world you and I grew up in. It's very different now. And I thought, what can I do to still influence people, but not go out there and do it physically? And I thought about the column from Ability Magazine because I wrote for that magazine to inspire people, to make people laugh, to make people think. And I called the editor, Chet Cooper, and asked him if I could have the columns and do a coffee table book. And he said, yes, of course, but as long as you give Ability Magazine credit. Well, of course I'm going to give the Ability Magazine. It's a wonderful magazine. And you can still subscribe to it online. It's a great magazine, actually. So then, when I got all the columns on my computer and read them all at once, I realized that even though they were written in various years before, they apply even more today than they did back then.
That's beautiful. I just pulled up some photos that Harlan sent me of some of the photos that I'm sure are in the coffee table book. There's one here. This is Carol. Is this Carol Burnett?
Carol Burnett.
And this is the book that you came onto my show when I was at Sunset Gower. Let me put my glasses on so I can actually read.
Yep.
And then this is Norman Lear.
Norman Lear.
When you first look at you.
Liza Minnelli.
Beautiful. And this is Liza Minnelli. And this is I had Charlotte on my show, Geri. I wish I had you and her. I ended up having her and Fran Drescher. And on the show, they discovered they had met each other at a performance. I mean, they hadn't. They had been at the same performance in New York of Carole King, I think. Isn't that crazy? And I had Charlotte on, I think, 2 months before she passed. And I was so honored to have her talk about a sense of humor. That woman had cancer, 3 times? No, more than that.
Yeah, I miss Charlotte. In fact, I interviewed her once for Ability Magazine. I spent the day with her. And I learned a lot about Charlotte in that interview that I never knew before. She was a strong, wonderful human being. I wish we had known each other more when I was on the show. But, I was a kid back then. I was 23 when I was cast on Fact Life, and I was probably emotionally 16.
Yeah. Okay, this looks like a president's wife.
Yes, that was when I performed at the White House in '85.
Yeah.
And if you don't know anything about CP, I have a very tight hand grip. And when I shook her hand, when I arrived at the White House and shook Nancy's hand, I could feel her knuckles crack. No,
I have had that handshake, and so I know. take mine back too.
She said,
All right.
"Right."
There's Big Bird. There's my
And-
favorite photo. Like, who's this here? Is that J-Lo? No.
I need to see your lips. I can't see you very well.
Oh, okay. It's she's got sunglasses on. I think it's J-Lo. I'm not positive, but then there's Charlotte Rae. There's you playing. Is this the character you were in Deadwood, right?
Yes, the first one is the Deadwood movie, which I did in 2019, and the other one is when I did the series for 3 seasons, 2003, 2006.
Great. Let's see. I don't know if I can recognize these ones, but oh, is that Frank Sinatra? Is that Frank Sinatra? No. My my recognition skills are not good. I tell Harlan all the time. I have the worst, name recognition in Hollywood, and he goes, "Don't say that." You won't invite me anymore. But anyways, these are all just a few of the beautiful pictures that you will get to see in Geri's Jewel collection. That is going to be, is it for sale already?
Yes, you can order it online. They can order it at barnesandnoble.com or Amazon.
Great. So please do go and get a copy of that. If you're in the LA area, it's August 7th. I got to figure out how I can get there. Wednesdays, I usually race sailboats, and I'm on the U.S. Sailing Center boat, which takes out inner city kids and teaches them how to race. Otherwise, I'd be there. But I'm going to try to figure out how I can be two places at one time. But I am so delighted that you're going to be at the Grove. What a wonderful and deserved recognition for you, the life work that you have so perseveringly shared with all of us.
So are you a Leo?
I'm a Leo in 5 planets, girlfriend.
So was my mother.
Your mother was Leo?
Yep.
In, well, we'll see how many planets she was, but I can only imagine if her offspring was you, she had to have at least 3 planets in her rising. Absolutely. Let's see. Can I get the book at Barney Noble's? Yes, absolutely. Debbie, you can get it at Barnes & Noble. Maybe I can pull it up right now. Also, Debbie, I wanted just to tell you, I have a series called Radio for Our Deaf Community that I would love for you to enjoy for free. It's one of my playlists on my YouTube TV channel. My interview with Layla Ali, I had a staff interpreter and several other people. So would love to have you enjoy that. So I'm pulling up Barnes & Noble now, and I will share that screen, and we can see if we can find.
There's a link at Barnes & Noble. You type in Geri Jewell, go to the link, and if you want to come to the Barnes & Noble interview in book signing, you have to sign on to the link and buy a book. That's the only way you can get in.
Great. So it's Geri Jewell Gems. Let's see if that comes up. Is this it? Of Jewels and Gems. No, that's not it. For some reason, I may be at the wrong Barnes & Noble. But just use my assistant Google. I'm sure that you will find it. What else do you want to say? You just got a couple of more fingers on that and hearts. I just love all the love here. And thank you, Debbie.
I think that we need to have more love in the world. There just isn't enough love. There are so many people that are judging other people, and stop it. You don't have to understand everyone, but you could still accept them. You know, not everybody is going to be like you. We're all different. If we live into the world exactly alike, we were all the same, what would be the point of being here? What would we learn from that? Nothing. There'd be no point. There's differences for a reason.
Yeah. So if you want to honor the life's work of Geri Jewell, you will stop judging, appreciate differences, because that's truly her life has been spent educating and living that, and perseverance. Don't give up. Feel the discomfort. Feel the feelings, whatever it is. Don't do a spiritual bypass, as I call it. Don't walk around saying, I'm fine, which just stands for effed up, irrational, neurotic, and emotional. Thank you so much, Geri Jewell, for returning to my studio. I am so grateful, above all, that I've had a life where I intersected with you. My life has been blessed by you, Geri Jewell.
Thank you. And it's an honor to be on your show, and thank you for having me.
Absolutely. That is it. You know the drill. Geri, I always want you to do my peace sign. This is how I sign off of every show. It's all about balance, peace in, peace out, world peace through inner peace. Now go and have the best day ever. And go get Geri's book.
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.